It's time to strap in and get ready. The leaders in AFL SuperCoach are incoming, helping you win your leagues and climb up the rankings. You're now listening to the Insight AFL Show with your hosts, Big Horse and Squiddy.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Insight AFL Show. I'm your host, The Horse, and with me, the band is back together for season 2025 and a new nickname, Squiddy.
It's me, mate. Going by Squid now. Switch it up a little bit. That's what the boys call me when I have too much piss. So I thought, well, I do that here, so may as well just incorporate myself into the Squid. Horse and Squid just kind of rolls off the tongue a little bit better as well, I reckon. So I reckon, yeah, we'll run that bit. 2 months to go, Horse. 2 months until footy's back, and I am so keen.
Mate, I can't wait. It's been a bit of a wait, hasn't it, since we did that last Brownlow show. We've done a couple of team reveal shows. We've got a heap of them coming up, ladies and gentlemen, so you're not going to want to miss that. But it feels like the summer goes so long without footy, doesn't it? And the fact that we've got so many Thursday night games this year, it just moistens the whistle just a tad more, doesn't it?
Thank God that they just brought in Thursday night games, because that Friday is so goddamn easy because, you know, you're all up from the game before, you have plenty to talk about. And also the community series this year, where we start on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Oh, well done, AFL. We're kicking goals. We are kicking goals.
Now, all you need to do is get rid of the sub rule and we're all on board.
Oh, come on. It's not that bad. Come on.
until someone on your team gets stuffed by the bloody vest. But anyway, if you haven't yet, please hit like, subscribe, and the bell. Squiddy and I, we call it the triple banger. We would love you to do that, please. It helps get us out to more people on the internet, on YouTube, to help us be better. But also, if you listen to us on audio, a 5-star review and a follow, please. We would much appreciate that. If you're not a part of our Patreon, the link is below. It is free to join. You will get links to game day squads. You will get links to injuries. You'll get lists to SuperCoach drafts. You name it. It's all going to be in there. And you know what, Squiddy? It's free to join. And that's going to be the equivalent of our Discord this year. So for a cup of coffee per month, $6 a month, you'll get access to everything we do. Trades, pod targets, you name it. It's all going to be there.
I'll tell you what. Just as you saying that, $6 for a coffee. Baristas, weak as piss, be better. Give us a damn discount on this.
I missed that.
My God, $6.
I know. We've started early with the weakest piss, be better, but you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. That won't be the first. Oh, it is the first, but it won't be the last. You know what? We're also going to have $20, $50, and $100 cash leagues going. And we've even had a little bit of interest of $250 cash leagues. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to wet your whistle with a cash league, send me or Squiddy, a DM, and we'll hold you a spot. We've already got roughly 25 spots that are being held for people, so you're not going to want to miss out. But if we end up filling up leagues, we can always open up a few more. Now, to get into the nitty-gritty, we're here to see your team, Squiddy. But before we do, it's going to be sponsored by our game day or game one or day one sponsors. So a bit of a tongue twister there. The Standard Squeeze, who have been with us since day one. Punch in the code IFS15 on their website to get yourself 15% off everything in store. Squiddy, you've got some Standard Squeeze gear. Goes all right, doesn't it?
This hat just is my absolute fave. And also, too, speaking of my fave, 4 in 1. Jeez. Tell you what, a couple of beers out of this one last night, Horse, and every night over the holidays, which has been very, very nice. But coffee's warm in the morning. God, they're good. Get on to standardsqueeze.com.
I'll tell you something that's underrated. So I've got the orange one here, ladies and gentlemen. Standard Squeeze, limited edition. But you take the top off it, if you pour yourself a mixer or whatever, you place it underneath, fits perfectly, and you're not doing any damage to any tables and that you're putting your drink onto. So it's bloody brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, fantastic. Well done by them. Really, really well done. Top quality.
But Squiddy, we're here to see your team. Please do not keep the ladies and gentlemen at home waiting anymore.
Fine. Now, this is not a completed one, as we always say, Horse. But, we've got to start somewhere, and these are the guys that are currently on my radar, currently wetting a bit of the whistle that I'm liking at the moment. Just got to see how the community series plays out, how final teams play out, how certain teams are going to structure their attacking and defense. But this is where I'm kind of looking to start off with.
Yeah, okay. So we see first, mate, Jack Sinclair.
Yes.
So
Jack
your
Sinclair,
D1.
That is the guy that we have spoken about as well with our main man, Pete, from Nerds for Life. Sinclair has a very, very good opening run to start his 25 campaign. Very favourable schedule for St Kilda. So that's why I've got him slotted in there. As you guys know from last year, I was big on Sinclair and having him. He can generate so much when he's off that half-back line. So I'm going there. Gone a little bit of a sideways one for now, Horse. This is subject to change, but I've gone damn shorty with Jaden Short. And basically my thinking is Rioli's now gone. We saw Rioli turn up a lot last year. They were more than happy having it in his hands. Short has done this prior to that. I think Uze is going to continue having the ball out of his hands. Let's be honest here. Ball probably will live down in Richmond's back line, so I like Short's running a bit there. Mills, if he is the halfback guy for Swans, I'm a little iffy on this one just because we saw that they didn't really need Jake a lot last year, but they also had Blakey that can do it. So a little iffy on that one, but that's where I'm going with there. Coleman, if he's back fit and firing, I think that speaks for itself. A lot of people there. Bo Allen, the young man, pick 16, West Coast, who is just a bull. If he gets an early game, I'm very happy there. El Hawali, your man, you don't need to convince me anymore, Horse. He's in my team. He should be in a lot of people's teams, especially if they look to use him like they did Adam Sard when he was there, like they did with Redmond, just another halfback, could be good there. Your boy, Toby Travalia, I feel like he starts in the side for the Saints. And weirdly enough, it was a strong draft class, but there's probably not a lot of draftees that are going to be playing early on this year. But I think Travalia could be one of them. And Trainer, I have in there. I really, really like the look of Luke Trainer for Richmond. My only thing is I just don't know if he gets a game, but with Bolter out for the 4-game suspension, I think there's a chance that he may get a nod, but it could be Blight. And if they go Blight way, I'll swing him out for someone else. I had Josh Goder in there for North Melbourne, but that's going to be dependent on how he's recovered from his Achilles injury last year.
Yeah. I like the Jaden Short. We don't really need to talk about Jack Sinclair because we know that Jack McRae is at the Saints now. There's every chance that he's going to start in the middle, which means Sinclair pushes back to a half back, which enables his run and carry and his pull use to be more prominent. With Jaden Short, however, we saw at the back end of the year when the Dan Rioli whispers became louder than whispers and that it was very apparent that he was on the way out, Jaden Short started to take the stairs up and he started to play a lot better and score a lot better for SuperCoach. At the start of the year, he was put on the back burner because it was all about Dan Rioli. Whether that was about boosting his draft stock or the way they were structuring, I'm not sure. But at the end of the year, Jaden Short was the man. And the fact that they've gone even younger this year and with the retirees that they've had, you're right. The ball's going to live down there. And I think they need experience or the ball in the hands of experienced players. And that's why I like your Jaden Short call. Callum Mills, mate, he's interesting. And I want to talk to you about this one. We're not going to stay too long on each line because we want to keep these podcasts to about half an hour. But you, like me, are we waiting to see what Dean Cox's game plan is like first before we sort of lock in Callum Mills?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was having this conversation with someone the other day on X, I think, and it is very dependent on Cox's game plan because we saw with Horst Longmire that he was happy with anyone that was doing it and they set up their zone a lot further forward than most teams normally would. So within doing that, it wasn't really, when we say it like it was Roberts, it was Lloyd and it was Blakey, and they didn't care who had the ball in hand there. And they pushed up very, very far forward. And the reason why Matt Roberts, per se, was scoring so well is because he was getting so many inside 50s because he was pushing so far up the ground as well as a half-backer. I need to see that from Callum Mills. I don't want him... I'm happy with him in the middle, but if he goes forward and does the same Luke Parker role, then I'm not interested in Mills. But for now, I'm going to wait and see there.
Yeah, gotcha. Good. Kitty Coleman, you just said it's a no-brainer there, 269K. He was in a lot of people's teams last year before he did his ACL. You think back to the grand final 2 years ago, Brisbane versus Collingwood, 140 SuperCoach points he scored in that game, and he was primed for a breakout. He's going to have next to a full preseason here for Brisbane. I think, he's a no-brainer there at your D4. And then with Bo Allen, West Coast were going to take him at 2. But the fact that they were made aware that they were going to still pick him up at 14 or wherever it was and traded back to get further assets, that's a well played West Coast Eagles. You got your man, plus you got assets. So well done there. El Hawley, for me, I'm an Essendon man, so I try not to be too biased, even though I call him flag dons at every possible opportunity. But Essendon need more dare out of their back line. And this guy, he's got pace to burn. He uses the ball well. And he likes taking the game on. And this is what makes footy fun to watch. He's going to be a crowd favourite basically as soon as he steps onto the park. And I reckon he's a lock for round 1. Travaglia, you said it yourself, he looks good at the Saints. He'll be another rookie that'll start. And your man, Trainer, I don't know too much about Trainer, so we're just going to have to take your word for it for now, mate.
Good boat.
We'll
move on down.
Yeah,
let's get into the guts. And this one's been changed around a fair amount of times, Horse, because of the news of Christian Petrarca now doing his cracked rib again. Poor bastard. Shout out to Track. Hopefully he goes all right. I'm going with the superstar, the LeBron James of the AFL, Marcus Bontempelli.
LeBron James.
No-brainer. The Bont. Yep, love that. Going Sarong, favourable schedule. That's where I've landed on Sarong at the moment. I just want to see how he goes. Will Day is one where I am currently sitting on because he, as Essendon and Hawthorn, have the first chance of getting cash gen. They play the first 4 rounds. So that's why I have Day and Parrish there. This was one where I'm going, okay, I'm not fully sold on this yet. I might have one or the other. I don't know if I'm going to have both, but I feel like both of them can be good options as they are discounted prices to most other primos. But both players have been playing their asses off last year and years prior. Will Day had that stretch of like 13 straight tons last year and only 490K. It's good for a cheaper side primo. Parrish, we know how good he was a few years back. Same as Clayton Oliver at 450K. Very interested there now, especially if Track is not fully on the park. Hopefully, Clary can get rid of all those injury worries, get a full pre-season under him, and then be absolutely fit and firing for this season. So, and remember too, people they're going to worry about Clayton Oliver. They still have Max Gawn. They still have Max Gawn tapping it straight down his throat. Mateus Philippou, the Poo for St Kilda. We've all heard midfield role for the Poo. Then I'm all on board there, taking him. More than happy to have him in my midfield at 313. Draper, I love everything about Sid Draper. He's just, he is going to be phenomenal for Adelaide. Hopefully, he stays in my side if Adelaide give him a centre role. He doesn't really, maybe he could play like a wing or a half-back role to start off his career. I'm happy either way there. That sounds pretty good to me. Ashcroft, don't need to say more. Levi, 185. We know this guy's a ball magnet. Had 40 touches in 2 games in a row, and the under-18s, unbelievable. I've gone Smiley over Layla for now because I'm hearing that Layla still has a little bit of an injury bug. So gone Smiley for now. That could be subject to change. Leo Lombard, the bloody brute himself, the son of a UFC man. I love that he's just jumper punching his teammates as well at training. That's fantastic. So I feel like he should probably get a nod. Chances that he might not, but I'll move that if I need to. And Murphy Reid for Freo. Really like him. Such a good footy IQ. So I feel like Freo can utilise him quite well. And I feel like he can play pretty much anywhere as well around the ground. Yes, he needs a bit more size to him, but that's all right. If he's got enough of the tank engine in the tank, then I feel like he's going to be able to play anywhere for Freo, slot and change, and hopefully he gets a game. So we're keeping an eye out here.
He was one of the best users coming out of the draft last year, mate.
That's what I'm saying, mate. Great foot and great IQ. He is very, very talented young footballer. So I like that. One thing I will say is, as I said earlier, I haven't structured it properly at the moment. I'm just trying to show who I'm keen on and who I'm thinking about. There will be, especially with that Day, Parrish, Oliver. I'm not running all 3 of them.
Yep. It could be mid-price madness this year, and we'll do a positional pod on your mid-prices and whether they're the go-to or not later in the preseason. But I like how you brought up that Caleb Sarong, Philippou, Sinclair have got the most favourable draw, because you're absolutely spot on. In round 13, they're the only two teams that have a bye. So when all the other teams have majority buys, these guys are playing right through that, and they've got no early buys as well. So as long as you're not worried about fatigue with your primos early on, then happy days. In regards to your players, Skiddy, Bont and Sarong, I think, are no-brainers. Sarong with the draw, Bont being the best player in the game, and he's only that good because you gave him a dust-up in under 11s and beat him in that final that year. So, Bont, if you're listening in, I know you are. Under 14, sorry. Skiddy still holds that over you. What are you going to do about it? Will Day.
That's right.
Those hundreds in a row, for someone that's 490K, I think it's super impressive, and we're getting him super cheap, and he's still really young. Like, he's got that 6'3", 6'4" midfielder build. He plays. He's not quite as silky as Scott Pendlebury, but if you say the way that he played last year, he sort of he didn't venture too far away from the centre square, but Hawthorn were looking to go through him. So for me, the fact that they want the ball in this guy's hands speaks volumes about the player that he is, but also he's very cheap at 490K. So he's someone that we're going to want to keep an eye out in the preseason. And if he's injury-free, I can tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, he'll be in my team. Darcy Parish. I like that you've brought this guy up, because you know what? As of training yesterday, he was wearing the red vest for the 2s and Zardes had the black vest on for the 1s.
Oh, shit.
Whether
like that.
Yeah. Whether that is just because they want some 1s players playing against Zardes or not, I'm not sure. But Elijah was dominating midfield clearances, playing alongside the likes of Zach Merritt, alongside the likes of Jai Caldwell. I really like the Zardes way that they're looking at going, which means if that's the case, Darcy Parish might be, and I think this is better suited to him, not from a SuperCoach point of view, but from an Essendon structure point of view, because you still need, as you know, Skiddy, having played a lot of footy in the past, you need good midfielders to rotate through so you don't drop off too much. And if he's that rotational piece that they're going to play in the midfield when your Merritts and Caldwells aren't in there, then that still keeps Essendon at a level where they don't drop off too far. So I feel like he might be splitting a bit of time between half-forward flank and the middle.
Then he's gone.
So that's just a wait and see there.
God, if that's the case, I am out on him. It was more or less to show this is the two that you look at for the early schedule buff, being Will Day and Darcy Parish. Parish is the one that's gone. Day is the one that's staying. Thank 100%. You for helping me, Horse.
You're welcome, mate. Clayton Oliver, great one. You know as well as I do, as well as anyone that's played footy before, whether you're at AFL level or grassroots level, if you do a full preseason and hit your practice matches in round 1 firing, then you're running on top of the ground. And this guy hasn't missed a beat this preseason. You look back at the preseason, that this guy's had in the past, and they've been non-injury interrupted. There's been no issues with drug abuse or whatever it might be, nothing to do with the Heidelberg Clinic. All of a sudden, when there's issues that blow up all at once, he misses half the preseason. He's not fit. He joins the main group at the start of February. Then he's got a hand issue. He's playing catch-up the whole year. 450K for someone of the caliber of Clayton Oliver with a full preseason, with Maxi Gawn tapping it down his neck flat out. Consider me sold, Skiddy.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you there, Horse. And I think people forget as well. He had a broken hand or a broken wrist, or he had where he had to have the plaster on.
Yeah.
When you're running into a contest against big body guys and you're made to go get the ball on the ground, if you can only get it from one side, from one hand, obviously it's going to impact you. You're not going to be able to get the ball as much. He was there just to try and get it out of there and do what he can. But when you're putting your body in there like that with a broken hand, that makes it so hard. But now, full preseason, fully healthy. Yeah. And also, too, did you see that photo of his quads? He looks huge.
Yep. It's almost like he's cleaned himself up and he looks really good right now.
Very much so.
From us to Clary, I know we hung it a bit on you last year, but in all sincerity, we hope that you get a good preseason in, a good season in, and that you stay clean and healthy, mate. Now, Philippou, no-brainer. Young, up-and-coming player. Will play in the mid. We saw his potential when he was playing mid last year. He's a no-brainer. Sid Draper dominating Adelaide pre-season as a rookie. I think he'll play early. Levi Ashcroft, gun. Yeah. Gun. Have I said that enough?
Yep, gun.
Smiley, 6'4", 6'5" midfielder that they're likening to Paddy Cripps. Big shoes to fill already, but this guy will be a serious player for Richmond and an absolute steal where they got him. Yeah. Leo Lombard, I think he plays round 1. Like you said before, he's the son of a UFC champion, small forward, plenty of pace to burn, very, very skillful. We saw 2 years ago in the VFL Grand Final as a 16-year-old, he kicked 6 goals and had 16 touches. Like, this guy is unreal, and he's not going to take a backward step. Love that, and I hate they play the Dons in round 1. And as we said before, Murphy Reid, one of the best ball users coming out of the TAC Cup last year, out of the Sandringham Dragons. All right, Skiddy. Well, let's move on to your ruckman, mate. Who you got here?
Yes, also I've gone with big Tristan Cherry. As we said at the start of last year, not a great start to his year, but he so much improved his ruck work, his tap ruck work. He was still second in the league for tackles per game. He really, really helped bolster North Melbourne. He's a lot more confident with his kicking as well. So I feel like X is being the 1 or 2 top players in SuperCoach for ruckman behind like him or Gawn. You can interchange either one of them. So yeah, I'm definitely going with X there. I feel pretty confident with having him for pretty much the whole year. And then I know that I've been the biggest critic of what's going to happen this year with Carlton's ruckman. I've gone TDK for now. If Michael Voss does pit net in the ruck with TDK, I am going to be filthy with Mickey Voss. Just don't do it to us. Just let TDK get the 120s, 130s, 140s. We do know that Curnow has had off-season surgery, so there is a chance that TDK might be forced to play a bit more forward if Curnow doesn't play. So this is where I'm a little bit iffy about it. I want to believe that TDK is the guy, but if I need a change to someone else, then I don't know, I'll have a look at it. I'm also keeping a very close eye on Toby Conway in Geelong. If he's starting ruckman for the Cats at 320K, I can be very, very tempted to get him because when he played last year, he looked very, very good and very, very solid. So that's where I go with them. I got West for Collingwood there because he is a forward switch and I will find someone that he can rotate with if need be.
Beautiful, mate. So Tristan Cherry. Sorry, I'll call him Cherry, but it's Cherry. 645K on SuperCoach at the moment. For those of you that didn't play last year or don't have access to the prices from last year, he finished on 730K and was the best SuperCoach player, better than Bont last year. So the fact that SuperCoach are allowing us to take him at 100K less, it's almost a no-brainer now that he's learned how to tap it to his teammates, Skiddy.
Thank God for that. We know how angry I was up until about round 7 or so.
And how is the points differential when we're talking SuperCoach points with TDK with versus without Pitnet in the side? So if you're new to SuperCoach, ladies and gentlemen, you do need to know this. Tom de Koning is a very, very good player. Carlton last year were 11-1 when he rucked by himself. Carlton were 4 wins and 7 losses when Michael Voss went with Pitnet and de Koning. De Koning as well averaged 30 SuperCoach points less per game with Pitnet in the side. So that's why Skiddy has said, watch to see what Pitnet's doing. We don't understand why they're playing Pitnet and TDK because they are a much better side when TDK rucks by himself. So if that's the case, both of us will have him in our sides if he's rucking by himself. If Pitnet is in the side and he's starting round 1, it's a no from me to start.
Yep, I agree there. Who would you sideways to as your other ruckman? Mickey.
Yep, I am looking at a pod ruckman. I think Maxi Gawn is on the wrong side of 30 and he's had a lot of wear and tear on his body. Timmy English has burnt me last year and out of fear of him burning me again and the fact that he's no closer to WA, Skiddy, I think...
That's right.
Yep. I think I'd like to go somewhere else with my pod play. And Lloyd Meek, when he came into the side, looked really, really serviceable last year. And he's only at 530K this year.
Yep. Yep.
There's also that Ruckman that was signed. I think his surname's Boyd. He went to the Saints.
Yeah.
He's going to be bottom dollar. He won the McGarry medal. And for those of you that don't know what that is, that's the Sandful best and fairest for the league. He averaged 40 hitouts, 20 touches, and 10 clearances per game last year. So you're going to want him as your bench loop.
Yep, absolutely. That is the guy that will be coming in for West there when that is available.
Yeah,
I'll move on.
He hasn't been added to the app yet.
Yeah, no, he has not. I'll move on to the forwards and the flex.
All right, Skiddy, talk to me about your forwards, mate.
Forwards, as you may notice right now, Horse, no primos. I am doing a no primo forward line. They are all scaring me. A lot of people are going with Jason Horne-Francis, but I can't do it for a 570K guy that could rotate midfield and a bit more forward and then sit back down. Look, maybe, but not for me right now. I feel like I'm pretty happy with these mid prices. I'm going Jack McRae, midfield for St Kilda. Yep. Crouch is gone. Big tick. McRae in the guts. Yep. Give me 30 disposals of Jack McRae again, please. Thank you. Bailey Smith. I feel like he's going to get the midfield role at Geelong, or at least a rotational piece to it. Mm-hmm. Obviously a great runner. We know how good he is with ball in hand. We saw the big games that he's had in finals previously for the Dogs. Coming off of an ACL, I still feel like I've got a lot of love and a lot of cash to be made here with Bailey Smith. So he's a tick in my team. Luke Parker, Caleb Daniel, coming over to North from Swans and the Dogs. Caleb Daniel should be in everyone's Supercoach team at 269K, Horse. Absolutely.
Skiddy, while you're talking about Caleb Daniel, mate, instead of me coming back to it, can you let the ladies and gentlemen know at home who are listening to this right now, after they've liked, subscribed, and put the bell on,
of course,
what Mr. Rawlings said when they picked up Caleb Daniel in the preseason?
Yeah, Caleb Daniel is coming into this side to play that halfback role, to be a leader, to be a mentor, and then he has the best kick in the AFL, quote Rawlings. So that's the kind of guy that you want in your Supercoach side. That's the kind of guy that North went out and targeted and made sure that they got. They have him. Mm-hmm. He will be that lock in the halfback line. It's, perfect. Caleb Daniel, yes, big tick. Lukey Parker will get rotational midfield minutes at 343K. He'll play half forward flank as well, kind of just rotate through with like Jai Simkin and the like with North. Mm-hmm. Coming off of Tristan Cherry, I like Parker at that discounted price. I feel like he's going to play majority of the games as well. I've got Tom Lynch at the moment, and I'm still not sure about that because the bastard could be injured by round 2 or even round 1. So that's a little bit concerning for me. How much is the ball going to come down there? But we have seen Tom Lynch score about 90s. I really don't like having key position players in the side, but at 183, he's just kind of where it's fallen to at the moment because he can make some pretty good cash. So I'll just wait and see there on Tom Lynch, but that's where I'm currently sitting, but that is very much a change. Kako is your boy, that a live wire that Essendon have got through their academy. So I will have that crack at Kako because I believe that he will play in round 1 and take Alwyn Davey Jr.'s spot. So we don't have to see any more of that at the moment, which is good. He might not score massive scores, but if he gets, 60s, 70s, makes me a bit of cash and I can piss him off, that's fine by me. I've got Jack Martin for now for Geelong. 150K is cheap for him because he can really turn it on when need be. I feel like the fresh start at Geelong could be really good for him. There is a chance that he's not in round 1, but I will wait and see and make that call when I need to. But I'm keen on Martin if he plays. And then I got Davidson from the Doggies. That's your boy, Horse, and I follow my horse.
Yep, he's awesome. Jack McRae, Bailey Smith, Luke Parker, I like that. And you heard the rave reviews from everyone at North Melbourne about what sort of positive impact he's having on the playing crew there. So I feel like he's in for a big year this year. I think he's got a point to prove this year.
Caleb Daniel was in the grand final last year, Horse. Yeah, he awesome. Turned it on in that last quarter.
And just think about how good he can be alongside the likes of Sheasel, Wardlaw, LDU. Like, he's not going to have to be that brunt inside all the time. You've got LDU, of all people, just smashing through people. Mr. 7-Eleven himself. Shout out to Justin. Tom Lynch, personally, I won't have him in my side because the ball probably won't enter Richmond's forward line. But that's all right. That's for the reasons why we've got Jaden Short, because it's going to live in their backline.
That's right.
Yes, shout out to Skits Fits, Richmond for Wooden Spoon, mate. Isaac Kako, love that. Jack Martin. I did a little bit of digging, mate. And did you know when Jack Martin was playing midfield at the Gold Coast Suns before he went to Carlton, he was priced at north of 500K?
I did know that, and it was very, very, very appealing to me as well. But also, too, Horse, did you know that he was playing? He was playing midfield, but actually 1/3 of his score came from when he was playing forward in those games as well. So he did do damage when he played up forward to be able to generate good SuperCoach scores too.
Yep. Do you think he just goes straight into the Gary Rowan role and maybe a little bit of midfield time, or do you think he's exclusively a forward now?
I reckon there's a chance that he can get a bit of midfield time because their rotation would be what? Bailey Smith, Tanner Bruin, Paddy Dangerfield when needed, but he can rotate through. They've got Guthrie.
Maxi Holmes.
There. Maxi Holmes, but he played a lot of defense once Tom Stewart went in there. Yep, Tommy Atkins. So they do have a fair amount of rotation, but I feel like Jack Martin can get a little bit of time in there from time to time. Yeah, Paddy Dangerfield, I believe, will play more forward this year.
And Sammy Davidson, who won the goal kicking medal in the VFL last year, Western Bulldogs do really rate him. And I think the Dogs need, alongside Riley West, who I think pushes up and has more midfield time this year, another decent small forward there. Cody Waitman, yes, he kicks goals, but not ultra consistent. He kicks goals against bad teams, and against good teams, he sort of goes missing a little bit. So they'll need
except for the Giants. He seems to always play well against the Giants.
Play well against the Giants, yeah. And then in your flex, mate, you're going Matt Flynn.
Yeah. I've gone Flynn at the moment, but again, I am worried about this because the West Coast Eagles have put out two different things where they have said Matt Flynn is the type of ruckman that we want to use, and he's the type of ruckman that we want to use to be able to ruck with. Then they have also said that Bailey Williams is their starting ruckman. And I'm sitting there going, that's conflicting. What are you going to do? So I'm scared this is going to be a 50-50 split, DeConing and Pitnet kind of style, but it's a lot less cheaper of a risk. I would prefer probably someone that can be switched in my flex position with DPP. Yep. That's probably where I'll end up going, but I just wanted Flynn in there for the moment to say that I can, so we can point out the talking point of, is Matt Flynn going to be the starting ruckman for the West Coast Eagles, or is it going to be Bailey Williams? Stop giving us conflicting reports, please. Just give us something that we can work with. That'd be great.
That's right.
But I can be interested.
Be better than the BBL injury report and give us transparency, please. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Skiddy's team. So from top to bottom here, Skiddy, we'll share this with the people at home.
Good one.
Sinclair, Short, Mills, Coleman, Allen, El Hawley with Travaglia and Trainer on your bench.
Yep.
Bont, Sarong, Will Day, Darcy Parish, Clayton Oliver, Philippou, Draper, Ashcroft with Smiley, Lombard and Reed. Parish to go out, and you'll feel that. You've also got 300K in the bank.
Correct.
So you can easily pick up another primo. Cherry and TDK, McRae, Smith, Lukey Parker, Caleb Daniel, Tom Lynch, Kako, Jack Martin, and Sammy Davidson with Matty Flynn in your flex. You're pretty happy with your first crack at your team, mate?
I mean, look, I like a lot of the players in there. I just need to dust up a couple of bits, just do a little bit of restructuring, and we're happy days. And that's 50K. Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, you just love to see it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Skiddy and I have actually got a fair bit going on in our Patreon this year. We're going to have, again, like we had in our Discord last year, and you're free to join the Discord as well, a Punters Club. So we've got our Punters Club president, Kizza, who will be joined by Deadly. And we've got a few nice little additions to our Punters Club this year, which we'll introduce to the ladies and gentlemen in our Discord and in our Patreon in a couple of weeks' time. I don't want to wreck that just yet. But we're also going to be running a SuperCoach draft edition this year on the Insight Fantasy Network. So if you at home play SuperCoach draft, we have something for you. Join our Patreon to see exactly what that is. But we have put together something behind the scenes that will help you with your draft process in your SuperCoach draft. So you're not going to want to miss that. And just one more thing to top it off, Skiddy. We're doing footy tips this year as well.
Yeah,
so
we are.
Jump in our Patreon. The @NFL Maverick, who runs our NFL show, is running the footy tipping comp this year. It will be $25 buy-in for the year. and the percentages will be worked out. It'll no doubt be 70, 20, 10, like we've done in previous years. That'll be the winning share. If you're interested, please send us a DM and we'll hold you a spot there. Is there anything else I've missed, mate?
No, mate, I think you've covered it all. Just a great work by you. Great to be back. Can't wait to get stuck into more of them and get ready for this footy coming up, mate.
Yeah, so we have got a fair bit going on. We've got Pete from Nerds for Life. He'll be joining us in a couple of days to reveal his team. And then we've got Silvertop Hurley, who finished top 250 last year, who was jumping on board and helping us on the Insight Fantasy Sports Network this year, giving his insights and his views on who we think we should be drafting, who we should be selecting, and who we should be fading. So that'll be one to watch. And also, Skiddy, I think it's time that we reveal this news as well. For anyone that remembers Dr. Supercoach from back in the day, the Insight Fantasy Sports Network has signed the writer of the Dr. Supercoach page to the Insight Fantasy Sports Network. So if you're going to want to see what he puts together, you're going to have to join our Patreon. The link is below. It is free. And my God, I've seen some of the stuff he comes up with, and it just blows your mind. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to want to miss that. But for now, fuck, it's good to be back, Skiddy.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Woo! Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you in a couple of days. Peace.